So our objective here as we step through this is we specifically want to get a GCC high user that's in a GCC high tenant. And we want that user to be able to access a Microsoft Teams team in the commercial tenant. So those are the things we want to do. And all along the way, we want to validate these current things. Like, one, can I even send a request from commercial to GCCI to say, hey, you can participate with me, right? That's important. Commercial saying, you can participate with me. I'm inviting you as a guest, but we still have to have a relationship with one another. Well, once we say that, yes, we can do a request. Can the user accept it? You would think it'd be the same thing, but you'd be wrong. Then the third part is, yes, we've accepted it. We're in there. Can I actually get to a team, the GCC high user, going into the team to go get it? So that's kind of our end goal. Again, lots of other features and capabilities in here. I'm going to touch on a few of them, but they're just way too much to go through it. So first off, when you're going to go do this, and by you, I mean whoever's really going to take action on this, one is know the roles. You'll see here I put security administrator as recommended, because as we do things like zero trust, try and do the lowest role possible. This is their documentation, says use this and you can configure that. Now, who can do the invitation for the guest? Well, that's normally user administrator. So, but in terms of configuring this, one of the two roles you have, please don't go off and do global administrator unless you really, really want to. Second thing is this link is public. You don't have to log in. Put in your tenant name. So if it's mycompany.onmicrosoft.us, mycompany.onmicrosoft.com, because sometimes we had GCC user tenants that had .com, sometimes US, whatever it is, or the tenant ID, use this URL, plug it in, and you're going to see in your browser just this JSON complicated thing. Normally at the bottom is where you're going to see this text. I highlighted it. This is very important because if you have US Gov, it means your business to business is possible in your tenant. If it's not and it says USG, then it is not. So this is business to business for GCC High. This was happening a lot over the years when they did a lot of migrations, but your tenant may not have moved. What do? You're going to have to open a support ticket and request it, and they might say you have to wait or whatever it is. But it's a good place to look at because if it does say USG, don't waste your time with anything else. It's not going to work. It's not supported. Take the next action. So hopefully this saves you a lot of time as you get going. So this is kind of the format as we're going to go through. We're going to step by step. A little bit of fun text here on the left. You can read it on your own. I'll just explain some of these things. So, let me actually go back to here because one thing I wanted to highlight as we go through this, you're going to see the Azure portal and you're going to see it in two different ways. You're going to see dark mode. This is just a setting that I've put in there to make it a little easier to say, hey, if you see that it's in dark mode, it's the commercial tenant. Because we're going to see the exact same thing in GCC High. If that one's in light mode, we know we're in the GCC High tenant. I'm going to try and explain it as we go through it. But if I forget, this is how to reference it. I normally find that really good if I'm managing different tenants to put a different color scheme or something different. So it gives me just a little visual cue. Okay. Right now we're in the commercial tenant and we're in the dark mode screen. And, and by the way, as we go through this, I'm not going to go, click by click by click. If I did a demo like that, it's just a lot of wasted air, wasted time. So, there's a general assumption that you know how to get to Azure Active Directory. You understand that there's a setting here called external identities, and you can read the screen. It says cross-tenant access settings. We're on the same page. So now when you go in, when you first see it, you're going to see Microsoft Azure Government and Microsoft Azure China. It will be unchecked. So first step, check it. So now we'll check that, click save. It will give us a nice little, friendly thing and say that it's saved. Now I'm on the light mode. I'm over here in the government tenant, GCC High, attached to the government Azure Government, same thing. But one thing you notice here, which wouldn't you all expect it, China's not listed in here, but Microsoft Azure Commercial is. So now we're going to say, good, both sides, government, commercial, we both said we want to be able to do something.